Welcome to the General Hospital recap for January 5th through 9th, 2026, first full week in January.
And it was exhausting.
It was a lot. Like, I watched Monday and Tuesday, and then I didn't watch everything else until today. So, it was a lot.
It was.
So we'll get started. Well, I guess, you know what? We'll do this. It's the beginning of the year. Maybe we have some new fans. Welcome to the show. We basically start the show with the Port Charles pipeline. That can be just about anything. It's either news about the show. We don't do spoilers, swearing, or ship wars. But, you know, if something happened in the news with them or, oh, hey, they have like a new movie or whatever, you know, stuff like that. They had a baby, got married. We read emails from our fans. So if you have something to write in, it's peer54podcast@gmail.com. And then we give a heads up about what our Port Charles 411 is for the week. And what that is each week we pick a different topic. We either have a different topic of like a character, a storyline, a location, whatever the heck we feel like talking about GH related. Fan spotlights, which is this upcoming week's, where we talk to you fans one-on-one. Well, two-on-one, I guess. And sometimes we have the honor of speaking with cast members or other people in the industry. So that's our Thursday show. And then we go over Hulu headlines because Hulu has the weirdest descriptions of what happened on the show for that day. And then we get into the show where we just kind of recap what happens, give our opinions, have some dialogue, talk about the show like you are sitting on the couch with a friend. So, yep, sometimes we get off topic. And then we end the show with a reality check because if you've been watching soaps for any length of time, somebody thinks you're delusional because you watch soap operas. And the stereotype is, so we like to bring it back to real life. And much like we will talk about in this upcoming Port Charles 411, which is a fan spotlight, like this is where we really get a chance to connect with other fans, you know,
Yes.
And they write in and say, hey, me too, you know, so we've had people write in because, you know, my son graduated from high school, went to college and is graduated from college now. And they're like, how did that happen? You know, so all of that. So for Port Charles Pipeline, we only have one email. It's from Holly, and she did my Googling for me on this one specific topic. Her subject is Leslie's last appearance on GH or at GH. So per Google, because we had mentioned that, you know, the actress who portrayed Leslie Weber, Denise Alexander, passed away in 2025. And we kept going back and forth on when was her last time. Was it for the 50th in 2013? Well, Holly did the Google for us. So per Google, it was 2021 to visit Lulu. So this would have been after she got after she was in the coma. And I remember she came to visit Laura to make sure that Laura was okay and all that.
Yes.
But I also remember that being a tribute episode to Gail, where she and Monica were teamed on a treasure hunt at the hospital where they make amends. That also could have been 2019.
Okay.
So 2021 was the last time that we saw Miss Denise Alexander. And speaking of people that passed away in 2025, we've got to mention June Lockhart on our 2025. So June Lockhart was Mariah Ramirez, aka Felicia's mom.
Grandma.
So she has to pass away too on the show. No, she was Felicia's grandma. Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
So she's going to have to pass away.
Yeah, Felicia's going to have a rough year then too between Robert and her grandma.
Yep.
Oh, man.
And, well, no, that's right. We've already killed Luke because that's what needed to happen off screen for no reason.
Right.
Yeah, because I can't, and this is where we don't know the 80s very well, so I don't know if she had ties with Leslie, but yeah, Robert and her grandma.
I don't think that she did. I don't think she had ties with Leslie.
I don't feel like there's a reason, but you never know. Sometimes we find out and we're like, wait, what?
Right.
But yeah, so June Lockhart passed away in October, and her character's name is part of Maxie's name.
Yes.
So feels so bad that we kind of missed that.
We had talked about it when it happened on the show. We just forgot to put it in the recap.
Absolutely did. Yep.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know how it just popped in my head that I was like, wait a second. Like, did that happen this year? Oh, you know why? Because it was after we finished talking with our fan spotlight this week is what triggered my memory. I didn't even look up if there's more that we missed because there might have been. The other thing that I had was at the end of Tuesday. So this is something that I had to bite my tongue with during our fan spotlight on Wednesday when you had said that you had not watched anything yet. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to discuss anything because at the end of Tuesday's episode, Tuesday, June 6th, there was the in loving memory of Anthony Geary, and I screamed, "You've got to be kidding me." And then I calmed myself down and did a Google search and saw that, and I just looked up Jackie Zeman.
Mm,
They did the in loving memory of Jackie.
right
In
after also. Yeah.
so, but they haven't done one yet for Tristan Rogers or Denise
No.
Alexander. I mean, okay, so I understand not doing one for Denise Alexander, but I mean, even still, if she was only recently on in the past 5 years, they still should have.
Right.
I can understand not doing one for Chris Robinson, because Rick's
Yeah.
been dead for how long.
Right.
But to not have one for Tristan in September,
Yeah.
that's a little weird. So don't know what's up with that. But so if you were like me and screamed a little bit extra at your TV, more so than normal, this is your reality check.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you sent me something that I had seen, but then I was like, then I asked you, have you watched yet? And you're like, nope. And I was like, cool, this will make sense for you later. You want to share what you sent me?
Oh, the ringtone thing?
No, the post saying
What?
that they're going to do
Oh,
something.
from Stone Cold the Jackal. It was from their podcast Facebook page. Just said that it was confirmed that there's going to be an actual tribute episode for Luke, not just the fact that they flashed up in memory of Anthony Geary. So, but yeah, you already knew, so you were ahead of me.
Feel like they should have shown that on Monday, that they should
Yeah,
have announced that on Monday. Because I feel, although I don't like to see spoilers, so I may not have seen that.
right.
But yeah, other than that, I didn't really see anything else. Did you?
Josh Swigert announced that his wife is pregnant with baby number 3.
Oh,
Yes. See?
okay.
I'll get
Aw.
us back on a happy note.
And Geo and the girl who plays Emma, Braden Bruner, went to New York City. And they say that they're just friends. Although I did see a couple comments that said that they finally announced that they were more than friends, but I'm gonna go with I don't know.
Right.
If they're just friends, they are super cute as just friends. If they are more than friends, they are super cute as more than friends. And it's just sweet to see
Absolutely.
them being young and discovering a new city.
Yes.
So yes, let's end on a happy note. Yay! I love that. Thank you for reminding me of that. Did they say when she's due?
No. Well, not that I saw anyway. It just announced it. I didn't read too much into it because I was just like, yay, baby. That's good enough.
All right. So as we've already mentioned several times by now, this upcoming 411 is a fan spotlight with our girl Sam Nolan. And Hulu headlines on Monday, Laura stands her ground. Dante is called back to the witness stand. Christina makes a tempting offer. Brennan corners Britt. Oh, yeah, he did. I hate when I watch the beginning of the week and then the end of the week, and I don't watch like Wednesday and Thursday because I totally forgot about that. He was basically like, "So you happy to have your license back now?"
I was gonna say he didn't really corner
I
her,
know.
but
That's
okay.
why, yeah. I'm like, I don't like that description. This is why we do Hulu headlines, guys. And Portia confides in Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
On Tuesday, Michael takes the stand. Elizabeth testifies. Carly and Valentine fashion a new plan. Lulu and Nathan worry, and Tracy makes a vow. On Wednesday, Lulu comforts Dante. Laura is relieved. Tracy comes to a shocking conclusion. Nathan and Molly compare notes. Michael is taken aback. And then on Thursday, Trina and Kai make a huge realization about who shot Drew. Well, that's a huge spoiler. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Drew loses his cool. Alexis makes a risky legal move. Brooklyn reconnects with Sunny. She went over for chicken piccata. Is that really reconnecting?
Right. Hey, can I have some of your yummy dinner? I'll make it.
When did they disconnect?
Oh, yeah. Wait, they just saw each other at Christmas.
Right. They've not had a falling out. What?
No.
That okay, weird. And Dante makes an admission. On Friday, Tracy confronts Alexis. Jason and Carly encounter with Drew. Britt makes a slip of the tongue.
No.
No, she didn't.
No.
She straight up talked about it.
Yeah.
She talked about slipping tongue, but not. Maybe that's what it meant to say was Britt talks about slipping tongue. Trina and Kai weigh their options, and Laura confers with Sunny. Where do you want to start?
I don't know. What was Monday again?
Monday was Laura stands her ground. Dante is called back to the witness stand. Christina makes a tempting offer. Brennan quarters Britt, and Portia confides in Elizabeth.
Was Christina's tempting offer? Was that Monday with her with Jacinda?
I think so, yeah. I
Oh,
think
see,
that's what they're referring to.
I feel like that happened later in the week, but same thing. I kind of watched them like in a weird way. So Christina had seen on Alexis's desk about the fact that she was now going to have to turn the suspects towards Michael more because well, they're just trying to have any kind of doubt at that point. And so she goes to Jacinda and is like, hey, here is a book bag full of money. You just need to leave town because you don't want to be called onto the witness stand and have to destroy your alibi and make yourself look awful guilty and Michael super guilty. So just take this money. I'll tell him that you care about him. Sorry, this is messing up your relationship. Bye, see ya. And Jacinda, I really like her. Like, I am really starting
I know.
to, not that I didn't like her before, but I wasn't sure, but I am like really, really starting to like her now. And so she went to the courthouse to talk to Michael and be like, hey, what's up? And then she ended up on the stand after Congressman, is he called? No, what is Boyle? He's not a congressman. He wanted to be the mayor, but he's not. So what is he?
Right. He might be councilman.
Councilman. Okay, thank you. I knew he had a title, but
I
I
knew it
couldn't
began with a
remember it.
C, right? Yeah.
Councilman Boyle had already got on the stand, and Alexis had questioned him on where he was the night of the shooting, and he had to admit that he was with Jacinda and that she would have been with him during the time of the shooting, so she obviously could not have been with Michael.
Yep.
So, and then later in the week, we see her go and see Michael, and she's like, hey, here's this bag of money back. Can you give it to your sister?
Well, it was like right after that.
So
She like immediately, as soon as she got the money, she went to Michael and said, you need to go get your kids and we need to leave. And I loved that so much where she was like, you need to get the kids and we need to get
yes,
out of here. I'm like,
I really do. I like her.
I do too. Okay, I know you're going to be sick of this. However, for a minute, I wondered if Christina could have shot Drew
Really?
over the scout stuff and why she was paying off Jacinda.
I feel like we already had seen her like break whenever she did the whole cutting the brake lines. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
if they would have done that to her now, then her character would have just been like ruined. Like she would have to be sent away at this point. So I
I
didn't
mean, we're
suspect
giving them a
her.
lot of credit right now too for that. So, but no, like I mean, it was like a quick lip of a second where I
I
thought
mean,
about that.
they, I feel like the people who 100% believed that it was Willow, which I was one of those people, were not changing their stance at all. But they did a good job, if you weren't sure, of reminding everyone of how many people hated Drew. And so there really were lots of options if you weren't determined that it was going to be Willow.
Just remember, I said it was Willow first,
Yeah, yeah, I
and
know.
I
You
changed my
did.
mind a million times.
Yes, yes, you did. Because in the beginning we agreed, and then you had a whole bunch of theories, and then in the end we agreed.
Because you were like,
So,
really? I'm like, yeah, because Drew made her still lose the kids.
yes.
But yeah, I don't. So earlier in the week, well, I guess let's just get over and done with the trial. Being that we just said that anyway, so I mean, it's obvious by now we do know that it was Willow because, and we can definitely get there. However, okay, hold it. So I said, Michael says that he has a special ringtone. So this is when Michael was on the stand. As soon as he said that, I was like, well, how much you want to bet parents have the same ringtone for the kids? I was expecting them to have the same ringtone
Oh, okay.
because that way it's like no matter whose phone was ringing, like they knew that it was,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I said, Willow's phone, hold it, want to bet parents have the same ringtone for the kids. So like Willow would have had it and Wiley would have called her scared if he couldn't reach Michael.
Right.
So it would have made sense that he would have just called her. So, I mean, I love the fact that we found out that they had different ones, but
Mm-hmm.
I thought that it was going to wind up being like they had the same ringtone.
I loved the difference because the one for Michael was like, I feel like typical dad, where he's like, Dad, pick up, it's me, pick up. And the mom one, it was like, you still want to keep your kids little. So it was Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
That's true. But we forgot that Jacinda had also gone on the stand.
Yes, yes. Jacinda
And
got on the
she
stand
had to,
after Boyle. Yeah.
yeah, and she had to say that Michael, and then that's when Christina offered her the money. And then I think,
I didn't think that Christina knew that Michael had
no,
testified or that Michael had testified yet when she offered Jacinda the money. I
it
thought
was
that,
after Ezra for Jacinda because Jacinda wound up at the courthouse and then she was called on the stand. It's
yes,
because Alexis was like, so you're a businesswoman. And businesswomen keep records. And part of me is like, yes, we do, but not all of us do.
right,
Like, I have very detailed records, and yes, I put stuff in my calendar, but I highly doubt that she's putting stuff in a Google Calendar. And she has an agency. So she might not actually be the one taking care of this stuff. I mean, I don't know if she's 1099. I don't know,
right, right.
you know?
She said, like, they called me and told me to go over there. So you
Right.
should be subpoenaing their books to show who my clients were that day. I didn't make a mental note.
Yep.
Like I would assume that you would know, like, okay, yeah, I saw these people during this amount of time, but I can't keep track. You asked me what I did on a day back in September. No, I don't know if I saw you that day or not. I need more
There
context
is a reason
clues.
I go to my calendar.
Right.
I'd be like, excuse me, can you please hand me my calendar and I will tell you. I mean, even Doyle said, he's like, I don't know, I saw her about 20 something times, but
Right,
he specifically
exactly.
remembered that night.
And he only knew it was that night because she had been away for a
She had
while
just
and
come,
then
right,
she had
exactly.
come back. And so he was excited to see her.
Yeah, he
Um,
definitely made it very clear that that is the only reason why he remembered that specific night. That, like, if they asked him about any other night, he'd be like, I don't know. But
yeah,
just because she had been out of town.
right. And then, well, Dante had been on the stand first, and they tried to ask if he had ever
Oh,
tampered with anything to do with Michael, like whenever he had hit Claudia. And I felt like Dante did a really good job. Like, I know he wanted to say more, but I felt like he did a good job of answering the questions and not being emotional. Like, yes, I did do that, but I didn't cross lines. Like, it's not the same as Chase having a whole new investigation for stuff. I was trying to follow the rules, but also make sure that my brother was taken care of as best as
right.
I could within the rules.
But then also he's like, why, or Alexis is like, why'd you question Willow more than Michael? And it's because his alibi was just as flimsy. Because the gun was found where she was staying in her stuff.
Right.
And yes, Michael had been over there and that's what Elizabeth had to testify to was that Michael had been over there for a half hour or so by himself,
Mm-hmm.
but she didn't say, yeah, I think she had to agree that there was a possibility that he could have had the opportunity to do it,
Right.
but
But
not
that
that she
not
actually thought he did.
exactly.
And I feel like the way she said it made it sound like, yes, technically he could have, but
Right.
so
And so yeah, it was Liz and then it was Dante and then did Michael go before or after Boyle? Michael went after Boyle?
yeah,
Okay.
because he had to admit that he was not with Jacinda during that time.
Right. And then they asked him where he had he been on the street that Drew lives on. And he admitted that he had been on the street. He wanted to go over there and talk to Drew because of all of this stuff about the kids and everything. But as he was getting out of his car to go up to Drew's house, that was whenever Wiley called him and he then remembered all he had to lose, so he needed to get back in his car. And he said something about, I have a specific ringtone for my son. So whenever I heard that, and that's whenever I was like, see, the ringtone is going to come back around one way or the other. This is great.
Yep.
And then eventually Drew got on the stand. I don't understand how Willow isn't so angry with him now, even if she believed everything he had ever said before. Seeing him on that stand, looking at Michael, screaming at him about how Willow's the only thing that he ever took from Michael. If I was Willow, I would be like, yeah, no, sorry. I am not a thing. Thank you.
I just think I'm trying to figure out her end game now because I'm kind of more upset that she didn't snap.
I know. I really did think that it was going to be, and I mean, I said it 1,000 times, that it was going to be that she lost it. She truly had no recollection of it, and she didn't mean to do it. But if she had the forethought to take the gun on one day and
To
then,
wear gloves.
right, and then to have gloves not only on the day that she took it, because I'm under the impression she didn't take it the same day she used it, right?
No.
So So to wear gloves when she took it out of the Quartermain cabinet, and then again whenever she got it out of her glove box to take into Drew's house. Like, yeah, that's premeditated, girlfriend. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I was shocked by that. And then as she's sitting there going on and on about how much she loves Drew, which, I mean, bravo to her. It just shows, obviously the actress is a good actress, but like Willow as a person is a super good actress, because how you can sit there on the stand talking about how much you love your husband after he just called you a piece of his property, pretty much. I was impressed with that. And then, as she's going on about how, she loves him and she would never shoot him and he's her hero, then she starts getting all the flashbacks of exactly what she did and how.
So after hearing Drew, how many times is he going to mention that he's a Navy SEAL this week?
Oh my God. I literally like groaned out loud whenever he was at dinner with her later and she was like, I'm just worried about you. And he was like, well, I'm a Navy SEAL. I literally was like, oh my gosh, we know.
It was crazy. And then I really thought about it. When did he get this obsession with her? Because we've talked about how he saved her life by bringing Liesel. So, it gave her an opportunity to keep living for her kids and everything. So she has the hero complex. She has the falling in love with the hero background. But when did he become so crazy obsessed with her? Like, that's not his character. There's nothing that happened. I know we've talked about this a few times. Like, nothing happened for Drew's character to make this shift, but just like the obsessiveness, like even with Carly and Nina, like he was never possessive.
I mean, I think he said it when he was on the stand that he just wanted to take everything that he could from Michael, because he was even saying like he built Aurora Media from the ground up. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
That was Julian's company, and then it like moved hands and stuff. Sam,
yes, it was Sam and Drew. It was Sam and Drew from Julian's
there you go.
estate. Like he gave her.
Yes. I couldn't remember exactly the chain of command, but yeah, you did not build that from the ground up. You took over a company. Maybe you helped it not like die off, but you did not build it from the ground up. And then he was talking about being entitled to the Quartermain name and all that stuff. And so I really do think the obsession just comes from, I want what Michael wants. Since I can't compete with my brother, I'm going to compete with my nephew.
Yeah.
Like, that's just all there is.
I guess. I mean, I guess it's kind of like a slow build that he kind of.
Hearing him on the stand was just nuts. Like, I really don't know how Willow was still sitting there like, that's my loving husband. No. And then at dinner, when they did end up at dinner, she was like, you like saved this whole case. I'm going to get off because of you. And he was like, no, I'm not sure about that.
Well, that's what I was getting at is like, I don't understand how she's doing it. I don't understand all of it. That's why I thought I wish she had snapped.
Yeah.
Because now it's just like, I don't know.
I mean, now we're seeing her as evil as Nell. She doesn't need to snap. She's going to just continue being super sweet to Drew and playing the perfect wife until she gets that not guilty decision because she can't be tried again. And like Jason pointed out, not guilty is not the same as innocent.
I was just going to say that was the absolute best was when, so they were at Port Charles Grill, decided to go over and interrupt because Carly and Jason were Carly's worried about Michael, that if Willow gets off, then Michael's going to wind up on the stand and be found guilty. And Jason's like, he's not going to. And then Drew keeps saying that Willow's innocent. She's going to be found innocent. And Jason's sitting at the table and he just chimes in, no, sorry, it's not guilty. Drew's like, what? He's like, yeah, she's not going to be found innocent. She's going to be found not guilty. So
I thought it was vice versa.
She's not going to be found innocent. She's going to be found not guilty.
Okay, maybe that is how they said it.
You are not found innocent. You are found not guilty.
Okay. But yeah, I loved it. The way he just said it so nonchalantly, like, I'm just going to correct you because I have to, without any emotion. And Drew, again, is getting so emotional. And Jason's just like, whatever, it's all fine. Jason being Jason. And then they showed Carly spilled his drink, which I felt like was unnecessary. She should have just let it go.
Oh, no, she threw that drink and we just added a new category to our 2026 tracking.
Okay.
How many drinks are thrown?
All right.
So far, 1 for the year. But we're only 9 days in, so that's only 7 episodes in. So
I don't know where to go from there.
I guess we could just go to, so Kai and Trina are annoying the heck out of me.
Right?
First, just Michael mentioning that he had a special ringtone for Wiley. They're like, oh my God, Michael totally did it. Michael totally did it. And then they go back to Trina's apartment, and Kai's like, we need to tell that Michael did it. And she's like, no, you didn't listen to me about my parents, so you need to listen to me about this. No, girl, that is two totally different things.
Right.
However, in general, a private citizen in New York does not have a legal duty. Yes, I Googled. If someone hold on, no. This we're just going to add to my FBI record. Maybe we should put that in there. What Shannon Google. If someone witnesses an attempted murder and doesn't say anything to the police, but attends the trial and then decides to speak up, can they be in trouble in New York State?
Oh no.
So I was super specific.
Yes, you were.
In general, a private citizen in New York does not have a legal duty to report a crime to the police, so simply remaining silent initially is unlikely to result in charges. However, once involved in a legal proceeding like a trial, a witness can face potential legal trouble depending on the specific circumstances of their silence and later testimony. Nobody knows that they were there. They were never questioned.
No.
So they've never lied. So at the very end, Kai says that he does not agree that they could get in legal trouble. Well, no, that was after. Okay, so wait. So they get it stuck in their head that it's definitely Michael. He definitely did it, but they definitely want to make sure that that is his ringtone. So thank goodness they decided on that, because Trina's like, I can't do that to Joss. That's her brother. She's like a sister to me, all that stuff. So they wrote Geo in.
He was trying so hard. He's like, I need an explanation. Like, why am I doing this? And they're like, just trust us, trust us, trust us.
Yep. And he was like, okay. And I think that he had a fair assumption that they were looking out for Wiley and Amelia. And so he's like, all right, they're not going to tell me, but if they're using the kids, then it really must be for them. Because I really, and truly, I don't think that Trina and Kai would lie about that. So they send Geo over to the Quartermain Mansion to play video games with Wiley to keep him company. And they wanted, so they're going to be at the courthouse. This was okay. So this was actually pretty creative. They were going to be at the courthouse, texted Geo, and were like, have Wiley's phone call Michael so we know that it's his ringtone. And so Geo called just to see if Wiley was allowed to play the video game Tron. So yay, Geo. And excellent product placement because Tron is owned by Disney. So I thought that was a good one. But they're sitting there, and that's when Wiley's ringtone for Michael's ringtone for Wiley comes up, and it says, Daddy, it's Wiley, pick up. Daddy, it's Wiley, pick up. And it was Christina, Dante, and Michael all talking. And Dante still thinks that Michael is guilty. He's changed his mind. He thinks that Michael's guilty. Christina's like, oh, that's a cute ringtone. He's like, yeah, I've had it on my phone since Germany. And she's just like, when do I get my own custom Wiley ringtone? And that's when Kai and Trina realize, okay, it's not Michael, and there's no reason for him to have just said, yeah, it's been on my phone since Germany for any reason. Like, there's no reason. So that's when they're trying to figure everything out. And then then we go in, and Drew takes the stand and loses it. And then when Turner asks her, then Willow comes on the stand to save it because Drew lost his mind after he demanded. So wait, I'll squirrel that in a minute because I have research. So then Willow takes the stand to try to save the whole thing. And as they're leaving the courtroom, Wiley called Willow, and Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star comes on. So then they go back to their apartment and are like, oh my gosh, it's Willow. What are we going to do? And that's when Kai mentioned. So I'm curious where his thoughts were when he was saying earlier, when they thought it was Michael, I have to do this. Like, we have to do this. But now because they know that Twinkle, Twinkle is Willow.
Right.
Now suddenly he's worried about legal implications.
Right.
That now we know that he doesn't really have to worry about. So that's good. But like, why wasn't he worried about that when they thought it was Michael?
Yeah. And they were lucky.
Very, very flippy floppy.
Yes. They were very lucky too that either one of them had their phones not on silent. Because if I was just leaving court, I don't care if my kid might be calling me or not. My phone does not have the ringtones blaring. No way.
Do you know how many times my phone is on Do Not Disturb and I don't even realize it?
Right.
But it's at least just like sitting there so I can see that I have a call coming, or I feel it on my See, or I fill it on my watch, because like that'll be buzzing, but not
And
always if it's on Do Not Disturb. But right, like you
and
would think
custom ringtones, I feel like I would like a poll. How many people have custom ringtones still? I know back in the day they were a thing. I never had them because you had to pay for them and I was too cheap. You do?
I
Who do you
do.
have custom ringtones for?
My family.
Oh man.
My son's ringtone is Hey Bulldog by the Beatles because when he was little, he used to love singing it. My daughter is Eleanor Rigby, and my husband is 8 Days a Week
Okay.
or something.
Oh
It's one of the
geez.
two. It's one of the two. It's one of the two. But
All right.
so those are the only people that do have special ringtones.
Okay.
But I couldn't tell you the last time I actually heard them, but they were free to download. I didn't go broke. That was the worst when you had to switch phones and you lost your ringtones because they saved your phone.
Yeah, I think I paid for one my entire life, and it was whenever I was first like being done with the girl's dad from him cheating, and so it played Cheater Cheater. So I would
That's
know that
funny.
was who was calling and that I needed to answer it because it was probably a conversation kid related. Um, that's the only one I ever paid for. And I don't have custom ones now, no thanks.
They were free. They were free downloads.
All right. Then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just me. Maybe lots of people have them. I just like, hmm.
Let us know if you still have custom ringtones.
Right. And what they are and why. I need the answers to that too.
You know why.
No,
They're all Beatles songs.
I mean like why you chose that song for whatever person
Oh, yeah, true.
and whenever they're writing in. But anyway, I was glad to know that it was not Michael and that Trina and Kai were at least trying to do their due diligence for that, not just assuming since Michael said ringtone, even though it took them a little while to get there.
I agree because if it had wound up being Michael,
I would not have liked it.
it
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense. But
Mm-mm. Did you see all the articles that said though that the writers hadn't told them who it was either? Like the cast?
no,
Yeah, the cat. If you look at Willow, whenever she's walking out of the hospital, when she's having the flashback, and she walks out of the hospital, like into the walkway of the hospital, and she bends down, like all upset, her hair is considerably longer than it was back in September because they just did those scenes now. They had not told her that she had done it.
that is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like it's like Clue.
Yes.
It's the
Yeah.
40th anniversary of Clue too. But
Oh,
yeah, yeah, that's old now too. Okay, so can we get the two alternate endings then too? Like one of them where it was Portia,
right. That would be
and
fun.
then the other one where it was Jacinda.
Yeah, that would be really fun. Like choose your own adventure book. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, there's articles of her talking about how excited she was to be the one who did it, and that there was multiple other cast members that had wanted to be the ones to do it. And so
Oh, that
she
is so
was,
funny. I wish, oh,
yeah.
I want to see this now.
I'll wait for your Google search.
That's the kind of stuff that you need to be bringing to the table
I'm sorry.
or bringing to the recording.
I just did. I got the
I
info.
found out about a week and a half before we shot the flashback scenes. On one hand, I was a little surprised. On the other, we were also curious as a cast as to who did it. So it was kind of exciting to know that it was Willow, and then able to figure out why. Really? They didn't know
Right,
why?
I could have told you why.
What made the twist even more compelling was that Willow had been long considered an obvious suspect, yet the show's decision to actually go there still delivered true soapy surprise. That's true. Usually there might be someone who comes out of left field and everyone's like, oh, I never thought of that. Well, you know who would have been really good?
Oh no.
Shiloh.
Oh, that would have been good.
That would have been good because Drew ruined Willow's life.
Yeah.
Okay. And everyone's like, oh, I never thought of that. But for them to confirm it was, in fact, one of their prime suspects, and the way they did it was really interesting. I'm not going to read this entire thing. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone, like if she names anyone.
I don't know if she said who else wanted to do it. She just said that Frank Valentini like leaned over her and whispered in her ear, like, you know, you're the one that did it, right? And she was like, no.
Well, it's like, did you watch the video of the final reading of Stranger Things?
Yes, yes,
When there's the big reveal there?
yes.
I mean, it's been a week. So if you haven't seen it, but I'm not gonna be the one to ruin it for anyone. So
Yeah.
but it says the rest of the cast has leaned into it. There's definitely something new. I don't want to say nicknames, but people are like, "What's up, killer?"
That's funny.
That is funny. And that Cameron's a great sport. He's an incredible guy, and working with him is such a pleasure. We just have a blast. Cool. All right. I don't know where to go
Yeah.
from there.
No, I'm just excited to see on like how they play it because like we said, it has to be premeditated now. Even if it wasn't
Oh,
like
yeah.
if she hadn't set out that that was the day she was going to do it, she still had to have had plans that if things didn't go her way, that was definitely an opportunity she was going to think about for her to have had the gloves and stuff. So I can't wait to see like is she found guilty? Is she found not guilty? And then how does all this come about? I know it ended Friday with Trina and Kai knocking on Alexis's door, which I thought was shocking because I thought they were going to go to Turner and try to get a deal.
No, I mean, 'cause here's the thing is that they're going to have to go. I'm glad that they did because Alexis can't unhear this.
Right.
She has to do something with it. Oh, you were right. It was Martin.
Yes. Yes.
For a second, when Tracy and Lulu were talking, I was like, why did we never consider Chase? Him, Mr. Being goody goody over this whole thing. Why did we not consider that Chase would have overheard and wasn't going to be the one to turn in, but to
Right.
deliver an anonymous note, he would.
When
So,
Tracy was having that conversation about that means it was someone in my house because
uh-huh.
Tracy had taken the stand. That's what we like didn't get to as we were going through all the
Oh,
people.
yeah.
Tracy took the stand and she was ready to lie like she had for Michael because she even explained like it was a technicality. No one asked me if I saw Michael on the street, so I wasn't lying on the stand before. But as she was getting ready to testify, then Alexis's assistant came in with some paperwork. They like had a 5-second conversation, and then she was holding these files and she flipped the one around and it said video footage of the street and whatever. And so Tracy then admitted that she had seen Michael on the street. And then after the fact, she realized, wait a second, like they would have had pictures, they would have had statements, they would have had something that proved this. They wouldn't have just gone off of my word, even though I agreed with it. And so then whenever she said that means it had to be someone in my house because we didn't talk about it, that is whenever my brain was like, oh my gosh, if it's Chase, I thought for sure it was Martin. But then it was just a few minutes later that we saw Martin walking away telling Tracy that he would do whatever he could for her to get her belongings back and being like super sweet because Laura was there. That then it flashed back to him standing at the door. And I was like, yeah, see, I was right.
That I'm very glad that you were right.
It would have
But
been
I kind of really
interesting.
wish that
Yeah.
I really kind of wish it was Chase now.
That would
Just,
have blown up Brooke Lynn's life, though, and I don't want her life
I
blown up
know.
right now.
Well,
So,
her talking to Dante, though, I don't like how I feel like she could be honest about how she feels about the entire thing with Chase,
right.
with Dante.
Mm-hmm.
And she was defending him, like
Yeah.
not acting like it's not a weird thing that her husband is obsessed with defending his ex-wife,
Right.
who has lost her mind, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. I thought that entire conversation was just like a little bit weird
Right.
that she seemed very passive about it. She was upset with Dante for suspending him and didn't understand why. I feel like Brooklyn would be like, I know you had to do it, but seriously, did you have to do it?
Right.
You know? So yeah, Martin. Okay, so here's a couple questions about Laura was having lunch with Martin, right? Because Ezra
Mm-hmm.
came up and was annoying her, and she said that she was meeting her brother. Did she say she was meeting her brother for lunch or just meeting him? Because she was already eating, which
Oh, I
means
don't know.
she had been there for quite some time. And he
Yeah.
didn't really apologize for being late,
Yeah, I don't know what one she said. I didn't pay
but
that
she
close of
told him
attention.
because then she told him all about Kevin taking Ace to Ireland. So I feel like it was a lunch date.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So this also gets mentioned in Port Charles 411 this week, but I had written this note before of what if Drew had ordered someone to shoot him himself?
Yes.
That was a thought that I had had also. What did Nathan have a cigarette butt for that broke the chain of custody? He had it in the car when he went to see Lulu because then Dante talked to him about how he's mishandling evidence because then when Dante realized that he thought that Michael was guilty, he asked Nathan to review all of his evidence and he straight up said, he's like, dude, you've been mishandling evidence, so I need you to like
Right.
not do that. And Nathan's like, oh, I'm just dusting off the cobwebs. No, dude, you've been dead.
Yeah.
he should have had to, if I didn't have my real estate license for 7 years, if I didn't have it for 7 days, I have to retake the test. He should have had to go back to the academy.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, hold it. We're gonna ignore the dead part. If a police officer retires for 7 years and wants to come back, do they have to go back to academy? Yes. After 7 years, a retired police officer would likely need to go through a requalification or refresher training, just not the full academy. But it
Right.
depends on how heavily the state law and the hiring agency's policies, they may need a special certification course for reentry, especially after being out for over 3 to 5 years, to update skills, firearm proficiency, and department policy knowledge in New York. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They would generally have to complete a basic course for police officers because the police refresher course only covers up to 10 years. But after that threshold, a full academy is required for certification. So if he had been gone for 10 years,
he'd have to redo everything. Okay.
Yeah. But 7 years, just a refresher.
Hmm.
And it's an 84-hour refresher course.
Okay.
FBI is going to be like, what the heck? Here's the deal. Here's the thing, though. I have separate Google browsers. Like, I have different separate Google accounts. So, like, when I'm looking that stuff up, for the most part, when I'm looking it up on my desktop, I'm looking it up under the podcast Google
that's
account.
good.
So maybe they'll just put it all together.
I was going to say, so we're going to go to jail together.
Well, how much are you logged into the Google Chrome?
It doesn't matter.
On your phone.
I don't think it matters the fact that I'm listed as a participant on it.
I mean, that's true. They can tell that it's just they'll use my IP address.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to say. Use her IP address. It's not me.
Okay, they were just now deciding to check the pings on the phones.
Well, I didn't understand how they didn't subpoena the phone records. Like, okay, they had already said that her phone had pinged off those towers earlier in the investigation, but that tower can take pings from, multiple different places. It didn't have to be that she was there. But they didn't subpoena her phone records because then they would have seen Wiley called her at whatever time that was. Why didn't she say something about that? Or she did text so-and-so on my way to kill Drew because he cost me my kids or whatever. And instead they're just like, you didn't call anyone? You didn't text anyone? No. Well, your phone pinged. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It so confused me.
Yeah, me too. They're pulling all that other evidence, but they're not asking for a copy of your cell phone records from the company?
No.
Okay.
Okay, what else? Just to get us done with all of that. Hold it. Let's get it. Molly was asking Nathan for an update, and he said that he thought it was a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
That was it was so weird. That whole thing was weird.
It was. But I loved that she was quick to give it back. She was like, no, I'm not on the case. The DA is just able to call me whenever she needs me to look something up that would be easy for anyone to see. But I want to keep my distance because obviously it's a conflict of interest since it's Michael and even more so my mom. He wasn't even drawing that line. He was like, oh, because you're related to Michael, so you want Willow to be guilty, not him. And she was like, or my mom being the prosecutor, being the attorney for her.
Right. We just want to wrap up Jacinda and Michael.
Yeah, we can. I mean,
so first Ezra met with Jacinda and offered her to make everything better and offered a real relationship because it's not like he was married or anything. It was just kind of a frowned upon situation, but now that it's out in the open,
that was so gross. Just as he was talking, I was like, ew, 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 ew. You're just so ick. No.
We forgot that he threatened Laura earlier in the week when he was like, now that you're also working for Sidwell, you might want to be a little more accommodating to talking to me or something.
Right. And that was what led her to tell Kevin that he needed to take Ace out of the country.
Yep. Or tell Martin that she had Kevin take. Yeah. But then Jacinda went over to the Quartermain mansion and waited because Michael had no idea about Ezra.
Yes.
Oh, that little heartbreaking.
Yep.
But I like them so much because she was so sweet. She gave back the money to Christina,
Mm-hmm.
or brought the money for him to
For
give back
him
to
to give it.
Christina.
Yeah.
Yeah. And said that she was going to get out of town, that she was going to start over fresh, or that's what she had told to Ezra. And Michael was so kind when it came to everything because he's like, "So were you going to tell me that you had been with Ezra?" And she was kind of like, "Well, you knew what I did,
Right.
and she didn't want to because then what if they didn't get to spend time together anymore?"
Mm-hmm. And
And
she did have a point. I mean, not that you should be lying on the stand, obviously, but she did have a point. Like, of Ezra especially wasn't advertising to people that he was hooking up with a sex worker. So why would she ever think that that would have come out? Why would she have ever thought that that there would be a record, first of all, and that they would
right,
even recognize that they should look for that?
right, exactly.
So yeah,
So,
she was justified. I mean, not justified, but I could see her where she was coming from when she didn't mention anything.
but then, she's gonna, they decided that she's staying, right?
Yes. Yeah, she
Okay.
said she'd stay as long as she could. So like if
Yes.
things get sticky, she has an out, but she doesn't want to leave.
Yes. So my nerd out for the week, well, one of them was Suzanne brought Alexis the cake the night before closing arguments, and she said that with
Huh.
her previous boss, she always brought a cake the night before closing arguments, and so she decided to bring the Greek New Year's cake. And I was like, okay, I know about the French King's cake because in French class, we always had King's cake and it was so much fun. And so I was like, okay, what is the Greek New Year's cake? So it's typically eaten on New Year's Day.
Okay.
It is a sweet cake or a bread, depending on region and family.
Okay.
Common flavors are orange zest, vanilla, and maleb, and it's usually dusted with powdered sugar or lightly iced. The tradition is a coin is baked inside of it, and one person cuts the cake, assigning slices in a specific symbolic order. The first slice is dedicated to Christ, asking for blessings and protection. The second slice is for the house, symbolizing the well being of the home itself. And then the family members each get a slice, and it's from the oldest to youngest, and then the guest. The Christ and the house pieces do not get eaten.
Okay.
They are the first slices of symbolic dedications and are often set aside. If the coin is found in either of those slices, it is considered good luck for the entire house. And the
Okay.
whole thing is symbolism for blessings for the home, prosperity, and spiritual protection for the new year. And I think she said something about that it's,
I think she said good luck.
yeah. And faith in households come before individuals. So then I was like, okay, other people might have been like me. And I mean, I know the deal with King's cake. So I figured I might as well throw in the information about that too. So King's cake is eaten on January 6th for Epiphany, and it celebrates the three kings visiting baby Jesus. And it's a puffed pastry with an almond cream in it. And sometimes it's a brioche crown, which that's the one that I was more used to. And there's a small little figurine called a fev, which is like a bean. And the person who finds it is crowned king or queen, and you wear a paper crown, and you traditionally buy the next cake for like your next get together. And it focuses on people, not the home. And it's a playful recognition rather than a blessing. I love the Greek cake.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. So we're going to have to like add that to our cookbook.
I was going to say we need to find a Greek bakery around Pittsburgh to try one.
Oh, well, they probably don't make it right now.
Well, to try one
'Cause
next year.
Yeah, because I know that like the local French bakery that I go to only did king cake orders through the 6th, but like you had to
Right.
order it, I think, by the 1st in order to get it for. So anyway,
Yes.
that was my nerd out for the day, or for the and then
Week.
while they were getting ready to eat, well, they never even cut into it
No.
because
Was
that
that
wasn't
whenever
good.
Drew and Willow walked in and
Yeah,
started demanding crap?
yep,
So I'm glad they didn't share their cake with Drew. He didn't deserve any.
yep. And there was no bakery on the box, so that was not like from Uckert's or anything.
Right. Very cute.
Okay, that was my nerd out. And I think that we are now done with the entire trial and all of that.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go from there?
I mean, I feel like there's not too much more. So there was, we talked about Kevin saying that he would take Ace to Ireland. And at first he was like, okay, I'll let them know that the three of us will be there. And she was like, no, I'm not coming with you. I need to stay here. And then she ended up at Sunny's house talking to Sunny about how she wasn't sure what she needed to do, and that she was sending Ace with him. And that then she brought up Luke, which I felt like was weird placement.
That if they, well, because she said the way that Sunny was talking, she's like, for a moment when I was panicking, and I like that she did say, like, after I called Kevin and I was trying to figure out who to call next, she's like, I got the urge to call Luke. Okay, if they, and you have to assume because of the holidays, they probably had a bigger break. So they probably recorded these episodes
Right.
like before Thanksgiving, I would think. I could be absolutely wrong. We know that they're typically 6 weeks out, but I would assume that they probably would have done, okay, we're going to wrap by Thanksgiving and you guys have off through the new year. That's how I would do it.
Right.
But so we should try to find out, like, was that, you know what? Was Laura talking about Luke taped for Anthony Gary passed? Or did they reshoot that? And that's how, yes. And okay, this is probably doing the same thing that I just did was GH episodes are filmed about 6 weeks out in advance from the air date. So they really could have just also been doing the assumption based on that. But what?
Yeah.
That was like a punch in the stomach.
Right? I was like, man, first of all, even if Anthony had not passed away, like obviously we always had hoped that Luke would be coming back. So don't say I almost called him and then remembered like, oh, I can't. And especially now, stop. Like you're just making me sad. Stop.
I know. Well, do you want to hear the books on her bookshelf?
Oh, geez. Sure.
New York Interiors, a book about Tom Ford.
Okay.
I think it said Domino.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. And then Decorate, the new antiquarians, One King's Lane, the Kinfolk Table, We Americans, and then duplicate copies of One King's Lane and New Antiquarians.
Her and Kevin each have a copy?
Maybe they have a couples book club going on. And so like it's mostly design related.
Are any of those real books?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They all are.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
Huh. All right.
One King's Lane is an interior design focused coffee table book, which that's an odd name for the new antiquarians. I'm probably so mispronouncing that. The new antiquarians at home with young collectors in a large format interior design. So like they're all interior design books.
Huh.
Tom Ford is just a book that is a visual catalog of his creative leadership at Gucci. New York Interiors, I feel like that's probably self-explanatory.
Right.
Kinfolk Table. Oh, recipes for small gatherings.
So cute.
Okay. What's We Americans? Pull up. It's National Geographic.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty nifty.
That is. I like whenever they're real books.
Me too. Okay. Then the only other thing is Valentine putting away his little Christmas tree.
Yeah.
On the appropriate day. Okay. Sorry. There's not an appropriate day, but they did have that episode air on January 6th, which is frequently the day that people take down Christmas decorations. So I thought that was just good timing. Yay, you. But Charlotte was sneaking over to the Quartermain mansion, to the stables, to ride Hades. She rides Tracy's horse. She's got guts.
Yeah. She was told, no, don't do that. Hades is not a nice horse.
But Danny thinks that she's up to something, and so she tells him that she's sneaking off to see her dad. I don't think Danny's going to say anything. Danny and Rocco are not going to say anything.
I don't think that Danny and Rocco would say anything. I just think that, I mean, she almost did get caught because the police stayed at the gate of the Quartermains and he drove her through the woods on his little moped thing. And even Valentine was like, listen, we said whenever Carly brought you on Christmas or Christmas Eve, whatever one it was, you cannot just keep coming over here. This is not a good idea. You're going to get both of us in trouble. So I hope she doesn't start getting careless as time goes on.
Well, he tried to leave. And what did you think when Emma came into Bobby's and Carly and Brennan were talking? And she came in so frantically and was like, I need to reach my grandma. Did you think that that's how they were going to kill Robert?
Yes. Yes.
I was getting ready to yell again. No, that would have been a first yell. That would have been before the card. But I was
Yeah.
like, no, we are not having Emma finding out and then having to find and then having to process that without Anna. But it's been since Halloween. Where did the past two
Yeah.
months go?
Yeah. I did not want it to be that they were going to announce Robert, but I thought that Carly was pretty smart for saying, "Oh, do you think that Valentine contacted Anna because you don't seem to have much information on
Yep.
whatever mission she's on?" But Valentine told her that was stupid, and I was like, "I thought that was really smart."
I did too, except for he might be thinking that Brennan might now be thinking she knows something.
I think that Brennan is so obsessed with her that he would never believe that she would betray him like that.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think that that's where I think Valentine was
Maybe.
thinking.
But I feel like Carly also does a good job of asking up to the point that she's allowed to ask. Do you know what I mean? Like she's like, I know I don't can't know specifics about your business, but so it's
Right.
not odd that she would say, like, oh, are you speculating this? Oh, do you think that? Whereas if she took a
True.
complete step back and stopped asking questions and stopped giving her own, like, oh, what's going on, that would be suspicious.
Right.
Like
Like
that's
if
just
I
not
suddenly
Carly.
stopped having ideas of who shot Drew, other
Right.
than the fact that we just found it out, you'd be like, shoot, Shannon found a spoiler.
I'd be like, Shannon shot Drew. That's the problem.
Well, that was Nina's assistant. Well, that's the other thing. Like, I kind of liked the Nina Drew thing. I thought that they could have been a huge power dynamic. I think
Hmm.
like they would have been such a good couple.
And there
But
was enough ooh factor there that he had hooked up with Carly and now he's hooking up with Nina, and that was enough. We didn't need him to hook up with her
right,
daughter also.
correct. But yeah, so Carly goes home to see Valentine. He's packing up and she's like, "Yeah, you can't leave now. And if you do, you're not taking Charlotte."
Hmm. And he said he wasn't. He wasn't planning on
No,
taking Charlie yet.
he really is such a good dad. He actually earned that title without the eyes being rolled.
Hmm. You're not
He
at
doesn't
all
need a list.
biased.
He makes his own list.
You're not at all biased with that. Nope, not at
You
all.
know he makes his own list.
Oh man.
He doesn't need a woman to make a list for him.
No, I'm sure he doesn't.
Nope. Got nothing else to do all day in the attic. He's making lists left and right, probably.
Right?
So I think the only other thing, oh, Michael and Gio talked, and Michael thanked him for, he acknowledged how difficult it must have been, but thanked him for playing at Christmas. And oh, Sonny and Gio talked about that.
Yes.
Was it with Brooklyn? It might have been. And Sonny was like, listen, it'll make sense when it makes sense. Like you'll play again when you play again.
Yeah, I think that Sonny and him started to talk about it, and then he was like, "I have to go" because he needed to do the whole phone call thing. And then after the fact, whenever Brooklyn came over, she's talked about how hard it must have been for him and how special it was that Ned and Sonny would come together to buy the violin, knowing that they have not always gotten along.
Right.
So,
But the only thing was on Monday. Well, there's like two things, but they're both Brit. On Monday, Brit is now Portia's doctor. And Portia was like, what are you doing here? You're not even a doctor. And she's like, surprise.
right. Guess what you miss whenever you have to move out of your office.
Right. Guess what this white coat means? But Curtis showed up for the appointment afterwards and he wanted the paternity test. But Portia doesn't want to put the stress on the baby. And I think that it's important that they should have addressed this part. It's body stress, not the other stress. So it's like she's putting body stress on the baby right now by her emotions, by all this crap that she's going through. But it's like the actual physical stress of the test is what she should have clarified a little bit more, in my opinion.
Right.
But then she complains to Liz about her husband's request for a paternity test.
And she admits that she loves to flip flop because she was like, I just told Isaiah I wish he was the dad, but now because it would be easier for my life, I kind of wish that Curtis was the dad.
Right.
You're ridiculous. I don't even know why you would say that. I'm sorry. I luckily, knock on wood, have never had that confusion. But if I did, I do not feel like knowing that there's a 50% chance of whoever I'm speaking to is the father of my baby that I would say to them, "Oh, I want you to be the dad," and then turn around and say that to the other person. Like
Right.
that's going to come out, and is they don't have some type of feelings about you as is, to hear that you told both of them that you wish that they were the dad is not going to go over well.
Isaiah really is being too understanding of this entire thing,
Mm-hmm.
I feel, because I feel like he was under the impression that they were done long before. And so for there to even be the question of
Yep.
the crossover,
Right.
like that's when, oh, what movie am I thinking of? Oh, I'm thinking about Phoebe on Friends when she was trying to decide between the two guys. But then Curtis asked Britt if he could get like if he could request the paternity test. And she was very clear. She's like, Portia is my patient.
Right.
Like that is her decision. But then Isaiah comes around and he's like, that's not happening. And she's like, okay, again, not listening to either of you. I'm only
Right.
listening to Portia.
Exactly. If she steps out of that room and says she wants it done, then we're doing it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I felt like torn with that because like you're saying the actual stress on the baby, I would be concerned about even though she's in her second trimester, so it's safer then. But at the same time, I would be concerned. I would be stressed out if I didn't know. And so I feel like
exactly.
that would be putting stress on my baby
Right.
internally. So it
I
might be
agree.
safer to just go ahead and get that test done.
There are certain things that doctors like ordinarily would say are not okay to do during pregnancy, but given people's dependence, given certain situations, they'll be like, okay, in moderation, in this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
Like smoking. Like if you are straight up like crazy addicted to nicotine, it's actually worse. I'm so taking all this out because I'm not giving medical advice. But
Right.
I have a friend who was like crazy, I mean, hardcore addicted to smoking. And the doctor was like, it's going to be worse for your body and baby
Mm-hmm.
if you quit than it would be
Yeah.
if you just have cut back. But if you were to just
Right.
quit. So, but then a couple days later, we see Brad was upset with Britt that she did not tell him where she was on New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, and I'm on Brad's side with this. She just came back from the dead. He just came back to town. They both just talked about how they don't have anybody. So why wouldn't she want to spend her first birthday alive again with her best friend?
But also, why didn't we make these plans ahead of time? Because I'm sorry, like my birthday is coming up. If you call me the day of and are like, "Hey, I'm hoping that I have some type of plan." It probably is just to hang with my family, but still, day of, I'm hoping I have some type of plan. If you ask me
Right.
right now, can I reserve like we're gonna go out to dinner? Okay, then yeah, you have it. So especially since her birthday is New Year's, if he wanted that day held for him, then he should have said something to her.
Agreed.
So I don't care how good a friend you are, you're not entitled to that without some type of conversation.
But
And
him losing it over that she was with Jason and then complaining about Carly, he hit everything down to the moss bowl in her kitchen,
it's
if she
so
even still
great.
has that. I'm like,
That was so great. I was like, yep, you're not wrong, Brad. That is hysterical. But I also felt for Britt too because she had to say it like three times. And then finally she was like, I spent it with someone that could give me what you can't. Like, you weren't going to give me a kiss at midnight. Come on.
I loved all of it though.
Yes, they're
That's
so cute together.
I know. I'm like, I love Brad.
Yep.
Not that I don't love Britt too, but
I was concerned though because she asked him if he was coming back to the hospital and he started talking about how he needs something that makes way more money because of all his credit card debt, which as much as I love Miss Wu and would love for her to come back, I do not want Brad taking a job with her to make money.
I agree. I agree.
So, no. That's just a
Yeah.
no.
But yeah, that is it. I mean, it was very heavy on the
Oh, we missed Dante being jealous that he wasn't the first one to check up on Lulu.
that's right.
And I was like annoyed by it. I just mentioned it so that we don't forget it. But it was like, even she said, like, why are you here? Other people were here all night. Like, it's fine. There's cop cars stationed all around my house. And I already talked to Nathan. It's fine. And then he suddenly was acting like oh, it's his place. You haven't wanted it to
Right.
be your place for a while, buddy. So back up.
Yep. 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 Yep.
But yeah, I think that's everything then. It was super focused around the trial and everyone's testimony and where we're going to go from here. And then Monday we'll get to hear the closing arguments, which should be good.
Yep.
So,
reality check.
So how was your week?
it was not the best beginning for the new year.
Oh no.
I don't know if I mentioned on here, if it was just to you after the fact, but last week on Wednesday, my
The turtle car.
Yes, my car died.
Yep.
Turtle car. Yes, I did, because I was talking about how if it wasn't for the fact that it was a catastrophe, it would be adorable. It had a turtle. So,
Yes.
I understand that car places are busy, extra busy, because we're just coming out of the holidays and whatever. But they had no idea what they were supposed to be doing with it Saturday. And so we called back and explained, like, I'm sorry, I thought that the company that's like your company that towed it would have left some type of message of to why it was towed here. So they said they wouldn't get to look at it until like Monday or Tuesday. Well, Monday and Tuesday came and went, and they didn't call or do anything, say anything. And the car's in Ryan's name, so he's like in charge of it, and he just kind of has that let it go personality. And so by Thursday, I was then like, you need to call them and ask, like, what the heck, man? It's now been there for almost a
Especially
week.
if you haven't heard anything.
Yeah, like what are they doing? They
Yeah.
hadn't touched it, and then they gave us like this whole thing about, with it being an electric car, usually it's more than just a battery. Because he said, like, if it wasn't for the fact it should be covered under warranty, I would have just gone to AutoZone, got a new battery thrown in it, and been done with it. And they were like, well, it's not usually just the battery with an electric car, and so we have to be able to run all these tests and whatever. And then they called back. Like, they finally did touch it that same day. Like 10 minutes later, I got the alert on my app that like the doors were open or whatever. And I was like, oh, finally. So they ran the test, called back like 45 minutes later, and we're like, oh yeah, it was just the battery. We're going to replace that. You can come pick it up before we close at 6. So they called us at 5:30, which was, again, just like a half hour or so later, because it was all later in the day after he had called. And they were like, oh, sorry, whenever we put the battery in, then it threw all these codes. Like, once they put the working battery in, it started throwing all these codes. We're not sure what's wrong with it. We might have to order parts. And I'm like, this is why you needed to look at it Monday. And then if you needed to order stuff, they would have been in by today. So I still don't have my car back. And then in the middle of the week, one of our cats, like the first one of the set that we got together, whenever we got back together, started having bathroom issues. So we ended up at the emergency vets on Wednesday, spending way too much money, because we all know how ridiculous emergency vets are, so that he could have a catheter put in, and now he's on special meds. And then they sent us home. Like, I will say jokingly, I should be a nurse, even though I should never, ever be a nurse. And I don't mean any disrespect to all of our nurses out there, because I love them.
No, if anything, you mean that in a respectful way.
Right. But I had to do all that stuff last year whenever Ryan's foot was all messed up. So now I have wound care experience. Well, then they're talking about the extra money it would be to keep the cat, for them to give an IV for a couple of days. And we were like, no, I'm sorry, that's just like too much money. And they're like, oh, well, we could send you home with fluids. Have you ever given fluids, like, they don't go in your vein, they go like under the skin? And I'm like, no, why would I have that experience? No, I've never done that before. I'm sorry. So they legit sent us home with a bag of saline that every night I have to like puncture his skin and hold this IV bag and squeeze the fluid into him for 10 minutes and then pull it back out again and do it again. And I'm like, what in the heck, man?
How do you do that to a cat?
Luckily, he is like the calmest.
I was going to say he's probably very chill right now, though.
He's super chill to begin with, because some of the other cats, I feel like no matter what kind of medicine they were on, they would still not be chill for this, because you have to grab like the scruff of their neck where that extra skin is. Whenever you do that, it kind of makes like a pocket. And so you just like push it in, and you can feel it. Like whenever you pierce your ear, you feel that like pop noise. You feel it pop into his skin. And then you sit there and hold it for however long it takes to get the right milliliters in. And then they're like, don't be alarmed if like whenever you pull it out, some like leaks out, because it's like this hole that you just punctured in his skin. And I'm like, why am I allowed to do this? Okay, I'm grateful. Don't get me wrong, grateful because I'm sure that it's helping. That's one of the things that cats need, to heal is to make sure they have enough fluids. But like, who do you think I am? I can just take this thing of fluid home and jab it into his back and be like, here you go, buddy.
Did they even like show you how to do it?
They like pointed out how to do it, but no, I did not like have to do it
So
in
they
front
don't
of
have like a
them.
gelatin mold for you to practice on?
Nope.
What if you hurt the cat?
They even said that if you hold the skin, like if you make too close of a fold, like you pinch and try to push straight through instead of a diagonal, that you could go in one side and come out the other. And they were like, but it's fine. It's fine. Like, I guess that it's just like, like human skin, you can puncture a couple layers down and it just kind of seals back over. But I'm like,
so small.
Luckily, it's not one of the babies. It's one of our bigger cats. He's a pretty solid guy. So it's not as traumatic as it could be. But like I said, again, I don't know who these people think I am, that I'm qualified to do this stuff, but I'm not. And I really would like the education to just stop, okay?
Yeah, no. Well, I had a job one time. I got hired to do like marketing and bookkeeping and like office management stuff. And it was at a doctor's office, and it was an eye doctor, and they started having me do like optic nerve testing and dilating patients. And I was like, I have 2 business degrees.
Right.
I have 0. Yes, I went to Pitt.
Right.
I do not have
Exactly.
no human resources. My master's is not like human anatomy resources.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
it is no.
And I was just shocked that that's like even an option. Like, I made a joke. I'm like, isn't there like pet liquid IV instead? Like, I can give them something like
Right?
that. And they're like,
Put it in the little bowl and be like,
and they're
there you
like,
go.
no, sometimes they just don't like to drink. So this will get it like under their skin, and then their body will absorb it that way. And I was like, if you say so, sure, we'll try it. So,
Oh, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that.
so am I. But he seems to be doing better. Knock on wood that he will continue healing and everything will be fine. So, yes, next week has to be better because I need to get my car back and this cat needs to be okay.
Yeah, seriously.
So, how about you? What did you have exciting for the first week of the new year?
Well, everyone went back to their stuff. So my daughter started her job.
Yes.
So she got hired at a local animal rescue, and she has a set schedule for now of 10 to 2 Monday through Friday, and it's perfect because we intentionally did not do anything in the morning until this morning. So like today's Friday. I didn't go to my Thursday morning meeting that typically starts at 8, and she'll come with me. And I mean, we spend the whole day together. She'll come to the office with me, all that. But I was like, no, I need her to get used to, because she hasn't been to school since May.
Right.
So getting back like in the habit of multiple things. But I was like, no, we're going to have a nice chill morning the first couple days. But then on Friday, we will go to the gym, get ready for the day. Like, we shower there, get ready, and take her to work. I said, that way, if you are too tired afterwards, you have the whole weekend to recover, and we're going to go back on Monday.
Right.
She did so well. She absolutely loves it. They have her starting off just doing like laundry and washing the animals' toys and cleaning out their dishes and stuff like that. But she absolutely loves it. So
that's awesome.
They're going to work on getting her closer, and they're going to start working on like getting her with animals. But I mean, she and I even talked, and she's like, nope, this is just a start. And
Aww.
So I'm like, okay, but like it could be months before you wind up actually working with the animal. She's like, yep. I'm like, okay.
Aww.
As long as you know that. But
right.
Yeah, she's doing well. She's loving it, and already talking about how she's going to spend her first paycheck. So yeah, but I told her, I said, no, I said, you are learning budgeting. And, I said, I want you to think of something big that you can save for with your paycheck.
Yeah.
So we're going to work on that. And my husband went back to work on his birthday, because his birthday was on Monday.
Yeah.
And he had been off since December 22nd. So
can't feel too bad for him.
No, not really. As a September baby, I understand, although typically we would have already been in school for 2 weeks, but still, it's like, man, I missed having a summer birthday by like 2 weeks. And I was actually due in August. So like, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, that was basically it. And it's like everybody that told me that they were taking off the holidays is back. So,
Oh, well, that's good.
yeah. And we have a new website.
Yes.
And it's up and running.
It
and
is.
We're working on other things.
Yep.
So join us on Thursday as we chat with our fan and new friend, Sam Nolan.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
So have a good week.
And we'll meet at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to peer54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Peer 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at peer54podcast@gmail.com.